On the September 8 edition of CCTV program Dialogue, the new Chinese marriage laws passed by the Supreme Court of China were discussed. New interpretations of China's marriage laws that came into effect in August have caused controversy in the former socialist state. China's Supreme Court has ruled that the property bought before the marriage, either outright or on mortgage, reverted to the buyer upon divorce. Previously, it was considered joint property. Such an interpretation has ignited debate as to whether or not the new policy was discriminating against women. This means that women in a marriage that has ended are going to become deprived of homes because the cultural tradition of China means that the man and his family provide the house for the couple, while women shoulder more of the responsibility for taking care of it. The anchor of the program, Jian Wei, asked if the policy was sexist or if it was intended to make marriage more about true love. She also declared the program's intention to discuss whether or not it will affect the increasing social stress in the country. Here's an example of some of the changes in the laws. A house bought by the parents and registered under the child's name remains the personal property of the child after the child gets married. Houses bought on mortgage by one party prior to marriage are to be deemed as personal property of the registered owner, rather than the joint estate of the couple. China's marriage laws have been changed a few times. First, during the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, women are granted equal rights to men when it came to divorce proceedings. It also gave women the legal ability to be able to initiate a divorce, as well as the legal right to keep custody of her children. The second writing of the law came in 1980 under Deng Xiaoping, his regime, as the country orientated back towards capitalism. This rewriting was geared toward the private legal ownership of property, as property was no longer being held in common. This third alteration of the marriage law is no doubt intended to favor the wealthier of the couple, this being the male the vast majority of the time. This was made even more discriminatory when one takes into consideration that it is tradition that the groom and his family pays for the home. This guarantees that the woman receives nothing upon divorce. The host asked Luca Liu, a partner from Capital Associates, about what the timing of this new interpretation means. Liu stated that it was probably due to the increase in housing prices. The real estate bubble in China has been growing since the 2008 economic collapse, and those prices have sent many of the urban poor and working class into the streets as affordable housing is becoming increasingly unavailable. It was also discussed what the role of a marriage law should have. Should it be about protecting marriages, or should it be about making sure properties are shared or not shared at all after a divorce? Luca Liu said that the law no doubt places the power in a marriage in the hands of the husband, since not only commonly in the city but greatly so in the countryside, the husband and his family pays for the home. This means that the power is completely in the hands of the husband. Oftentimes, this advantage the man has is used as a threat against the wife. He'll leave her if she doesn't do what he wants. In a divorce, she'll have a great disadvantage because she won't have a place to live. This also discriminates against women in the field of child custody. A judge is far more likely to award custody to the parent who has a home in which to house the children. This new policy seeks to reinforce a patriarchal power structure. Einar Tangen, a Biz Times columnist and author, disagreed with Liu's assessment. Instead, he argued this new policy would push women to become more financially independent before getting into marriage. His belief is that this new policy would encourage women to strive for better economic positions in society, and is supposed to warn them against being a housewife. This statement is almost laughable. The idea that simply creating laws in favor of those who already hold a disproportionate amount of power will encourage those with less to try harder is ridiculous. How is a woman supposed to become as financially independent and stable as a man when it's already acknowledged that the women are paid less than men? Women are already given less access to greater paying employment than men. This will not supposedly incentivize women to become more financially independent. It will do the opposite. It will take an already disadvantaged position and make it worse through legal power. The fact is, this new interpretation of the law is the protection of property. To try and disguise it as anything else, such as an incentive program for women, is a ridiculous farce. Battles over property occur because of inequality. Situations such as these were virtually unheard of in revolutionary China. Under socialism, all were guaranteed homes, and it was never necessary to fight over who keeps a place to live. This is just more proof of China's turn towards capitalism.